We're not even 10 seconds into this review and already I feel like I've pissed off every Sonic fan just by wearing this shirt here. I didn't do it on purpose, I just don't have any other video game shirts in my closet, so again, apologies in advance. Hey everyone, it's Alexander, the real Mr. Robinson. Welcome to the channel, and this is my review for Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which is the sequel to 2020's Sonic the Hedgehog movie. It once again follows the blue hedgehog from another planet, raised by an owl, something that was not in the original games, as he's trying to be a hero. The very first scene with Sonic actually takes place in Seattle, where he's trying to stop a bank robbery. It doesn't really go well. He makes the news, but in a negative light, and he gets a talk from James Marsden to pretty much kind of control himself in a way. So James Marsden and his wife head to Hawaii for her sister's wedding, and they leave Sonic at home. Unfortunately for Sonic, Dr. Robotnik, aka Dr. Eggman, played again by Jim Carrey, has returned from the mushroom planet that he was abandoned on in the first movie after being rescued by an angry echidna warrior, Knuckles. Eventually, Sonic is aided himself by a flying fox named Tails, and they learn about the Master Emerald that Knuckles is after because of some history with his village, and Robotnik is after as well for personal reasons. If you saw my review for the original Sonic movie in 2020, you know I wasn't a huge fan of it. I thought Jim Carrey was absolutely hilarious and was back to being the 90s Jim Carrey that I love, and I thought they got Sonic the character right, but the rest of the movie just felt like a generic paint-by-numbers road trip movie. Not at all what I wanted from a Sonic the Hedgehog movie. So when the trailers came out for the sequel, it looked more bonkers, more insane. You've got the addition of Knuckles and Tails, and Jim Carrey looks more like the Dr. Eggman from the video games. The goggles, the baldness, and the super long villainous mustache. The only thing he was missing was being fat and having freakishly long legs. So all things considered, it looked more faithful to the games than the first movie did. And again, you gotta keep in mind that I was a Nintendo kid. I still am, as you can tell, but Sonic I always found less interesting than Mario. I've played some games like Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, so I don't really have a strong dislike for Sonic, it's just his games don't appeal to me the same way Mario's games do. But I gotta say, so far when it comes to the movies, Sonic has definitely gotten the upper hand, because the first movie was obviously better than the first Mario movie, and as somebody who didn't really care for that first movie, this one's actually pretty good. I actually like this quite a bit. It does exactly what a sequel should do, and it doesn't just do the same plot from the first movie again, but with a few differences. It's a different plot, it expands the story and the Sonic universe, it brings in new characters, and it's just bigger. Like, it is a massive movie and is not the road trip buddy comedy that the first film was, which I am so grateful for. There are parts of the movie where it is a buddy comedy, but it's not between Sonic and James Marsden. It's between Sonic and Tails, just like the video games. Because I'll tell you right now, when it comes to James Marsden and Tika Sumpter, who plays his wife, this is not spoilers, this is just letting you know right off the bat, most of their screen time in the movie is spent in Hawaii on vacation, which, hey, not a bad thing to do when making a movie, just get a free vacation in Hawaii. So most of the movie focuses on who it's supposed to be focusing. And Ben Schwartz once again does a really good job as Sonic the Hedgehog. Tails is voiced by Colleen O'Shaughnessey. I hope I pronounced that last name correctly, but basically she's the same voice actress who voices Tails in the video games, which I actually like. There's a big problem when it comes to these adaptations of video games or cartoons, where if they have animated characters, they don't really bring in the original voice actors. They just get celebrities to come in and do the voice, which I'll talk about in a little bit when it comes to Knuckles. So to have the actress who voices Tails in the video games voice him again in this movie is well appreciated. And Tails is just mainly there to be cute and to be Sonic's best friend. That's pretty much Tails in the video game. He's also a tech genius, so it's clear that the people making this really were fans of the games. And then when we get to Idris Elba as Knuckles, it took me a while to actually get used to Idris Elba voicing this character, because while Knuckles always has that tough guy persona, Idris Elba's voice to me is so iconic that I just had to keep telling myself, this is Knuckles, this is Knuckles, this isn't just Idris Elba. And it's funny because when Idris Elba was announced to be voicing Knuckles, he made a comment saying he promises he won't make Knuckles sound sexy. And throughout the first bit of the movie, I thought to myself, no, he still sounds sexy. It's a weird thing to say for me, but you can hear Idris Elba within Knuckles' voice. But that being said, I think Knuckles was one of the bigger highlights of the movie for me. Jim Carrey is still great as Dr. Robotnik, or Eggman. I would just continue calling him Eggman from now on because that's how I know him from the video games. I didn't grow up in the period of time when he was known as Dr. Robotnik. But yeah, he's still really good. He's still that 90s Jim Carrey that I love. But this time around, he's not the big show stealer. Because the movie is so focused on bigger stuff and it's actually focused on Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, they are probably the bigger highlights more than Jim Carrey. And that's good because Jim Carrey pretty much carried that entire first movie. Whereas with this one, you have so many other hands making this as fun as it is. And it is certainly a fun movie. If I had any issues, I thought it was a little too long. And there are two scenes in the movie that really didn't work for me. The first one is kind of a repeat of a scene from the first movie where James Marsden and Sonic go into a bar and Sonic has to wear a disguise. This time it's Tails and Sonic at a bar in Siberia. They're wearing disguises, except unlike the first movie where nobody was even aware of this giant blue hedgehog walking around. The people in this bar in Siberia were like, ah, it's a giant blue hedgehog and a giant fox with two tails. Let's burn them. Like that got a laugh out of me. But the scene that didn't really work is when there's a dance-off between one guy in the bar, his crew, and Sonic and Tails. It didn't really add anything to the plot, and I felt like it was just mainly there for the kids, which on one hand just kind of rolled my eyes because it's one of these lazy tropes in kids' movies that I hate. But it had a few amusing moments to it, so it wasn't awful. Now the scene I thought was awful though was in Hawaii. I won't say what exactly happens, but there's a good chunk of the movie dedicated to two characters who are not in the game, have nothing to do with the plot, like literally nothing to do with the plot. And we get about 10 minutes focused on these characters, and I just thought it was terrible. The whole time I was watching that sequence, I thought to myself, this is a Sonic movie, right? I came here to watch a blue hedgehog that runs really fast. But that's all I have to say about the movie in terms of complaints. For being a sequel to a movie that I didn't really care for and that I feel like I'm in the minority on, I had a lot of fun with this. It was more what I wanted to see from a Sonic the Hedgehog movie. It was more crazy, it was more action-packed. I felt it was a lot more faithful to the games, and the ending was a lot of fun. The big final battle of the movie was really entertaining. The way it ended was actually pretty sweet and made me excited to see a third one on top of the film's stinger. Now the stinger comes in pretty early. It comes in after the main credits, but before the rest of the credits, so you don't have to worry about staying through the entire credits like you do with a Marvel movie to see it. And I gotta say, throughout this entire movie, there was a kid and his mother sitting next to me the whole time. The kid was talking, asking his mom questions, and there were points where the mom was really enjoying the movie. I thought to myself, man, I want to say something, but this is technically a kid's movie, so I'm in his territory, so I'm just not gonna ruin his parade. The stinger, on the other hand, in the back of the theater, I heard a bunch of grown men losing their minds over what the stinger was. I won't say what it is because you should definitely see the movie for yourself, but if you're a Sonic fan and you know the history of this franchise, then you can probably guess what the stinger is about. And I just thought to myself, wow, these guys are really going nuts for this in a kid's movie, but I mean, I can't blame them. I wasn't audible, but that stinger got me pretty excited. I'm gonna say that this movie is good, but it's not great. I felt like it didn't need to push the 2-hour mark. It could have been trimmed down a little more, especially with those 2 scenes that I particularly didn't like. But this was a big surprise for me. Between this movie and Ambulance, April 9th has become a big surprise in terms of movies. So made me feel good in the end. I like this movie more than Ambulance, even though I gave that the same rating, and I certainly like this more than the first Sonic the Hedgehog, so I can't wait to see it again and to own it and to see that third movie. And there you go, that's my review for Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I hope you enjoyed it, and now I want to know what you guys think about the movie. If you've seen it, what did you think? Whatever the case may be, let me know in the comments below, and until next time, this is the real Mr. Robinson telling you there is only one. Hello everyone, I just wanted to say thank you all for watching my review for Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell button to get notifications. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, go check out my theme park channel, and support me on Patreon. I'll see you guys in the next video, but until then, have a good day and take care of yourselves.